In the early years of World War II, the skies over Europe became a place of constant death and fear. Every bombing mission meant crossing hundreds of miles of enemy territory with little protection. Entire formations of Allied bombers were torn apart in midair by German fighters, bursting into flames and crashing to the ground with their crews trapped inside. Losses were so severe that military commanders feared the air war could be lost before victory on the ground was even possible. Without control of the skies, defeating Nazi Germany seemed impossible. It was in this desperate moment that one aircraft would emerge to change the course of the war forever. An airplane that would not only protect Allied bombers, but hunt down the enemy in his own territory. Fast, elegant, and deadly, it would become the symbol of air superiority. Its name was the P-51 Mustang. World War II had pushed aviation technology to its limits, and by 1940, Britain was urgently searching for new fighter aircraft to strengthen its air force after the heavy losses suffered during the Battle of Britain. The American company, North American Aviation, was initially asked to build the Curtiss P-40 under license, but its engineers believed they could design something better in less time. Working at an incredible pace, they created a completely new aircraft in just over 100 days. From its very first flight, the Mustang showed extraordinary potential. Its advanced aerodynamic design, featuring laminar flow wings and a smooth, streamlined fuselage, allowed it to fly faster and farther while using less fuel. These innovations made the aircraft highly efficient and stable at high speeds. Early versions were powered by the Allison V1710 engine, which performed well at low altitudes but lost power higher in the sky, where most bomber missions took place. Because of this limitation, the first Mustangs were mainly used for reconnaissance and low-level attack missions, where their speed allowed pilots to strike quickly and escape before enemy defenses could react. British pilots soon realized that the Mustang had far greater potential than initially imagined. Then, engineers made a bold decision that would transform the aircraft completely, replacing the Allison engine with the legendary Rolls-Royce Merlin, the same engine used in the famous Spitfire. The results were dramatic. With the Merlin engine, the Mustang gained incredible performance at high altitude, superior speed, and improved climbing ability. It could now compete with and often outperform Germany's best fighters. The United States quickly adopted this improved version, producing models such as the P-51B, P-51C, and eventually the iconic P-51D, which featured a bubble canopy giving pilots excellent visibility in combat. More importantly, the Mustang could now carry additional fuel tanks, giving it an extraordinary range. For the first time, Allied fighters could escort bombers all the way from England to deep inside Germany and back again. This single advantage changed the entire strategy of the air war. Before the Mustang, German fighters simply waited until Allied escorts were forced to turn back due to lack of fuel. Then they would attack the bombers with devastating efficiency. Now, the Mustang stayed with the bombers for the entire mission, and they did more than just defend. Mustang pilots were ordered to seek out and destroy enemy aircraft wherever they could find them. They attacked German fighters in the air, strafed airfields, destroyed planes on the ground, and targeted fuel depots and hangars. The Luftwaffe began to suffer catastrophic losses, not only in aircraft, but in highly trained veteran pilots who could not be easily replaced. The skies over Europe became a daily battlefield. High above the clouds, intense dogfights erupted between Mustangs and German fighters such as the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and the Focke-Wulf Fw-190. Bullets ripped through metal, engines exploded in flames, and aircraft spiraled toward the earth. The Mustang's combination of speed, range, and firepower often gave Allied pilots the upper hand. As months passed, Allied air superiority became undeniable. Bombing missions became more effective and far less costly. German factories, oil refineries, rail networks, and military infrastructure were being systematically destroyed. The war machine of Nazi Germany was being strangled from the air. The psychological impact was enormous. German civilians lived under constant bombing, while Luftwaffe pilots faced an enemy that seemed unstoppable. Hermann Göring, the commander of the German Air Force, reportedly admitted that when he saw Allied fighters escorting bombers over Berlin itself, he knew the war was lost. Between 1943 and 1945, the P-51 Mustang destroyed thousands of enemy aircraft, becoming the most successful Allied fighter in the European theater. Legendary pilots such as George Preddy, Don Gentile, and Chuck Yeager became famous flying the Mustang, scoring dozens of victories. One of the most important chapters in the Mustang story was written by the Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American fighter pilots in U.S. military history. Despite facing discrimination and doubt, they proved themselves in combat. Flying Mustangs with distinctive red tails, they escorted hundreds of bomber missions with remarkable success, earning respect and helping pave the way for racial integration in the armed forces. Meanwhile, in the Pacific theater, the Mustang once again demonstrated its value. After Allied forces captured strategic islands such as Iwo Jima, airfields were built that allowed P-51s to escort massive B-29 bombers on long-range missions directly over Japan. These flights often lasted more than 7 hours, pushing both pilots and aircraft to their limits. Over Japan, the Mustang fought against experienced enemy fighters like the Mitsubishi Zero and the Nakajima K-84 Hayate. While some Japanese aircraft were highly maneuverable, the P-51 usually held advantages in speed, altitude, and firepower. In addition to escort missions, Mustangs carried out devastating ground attacks against airfields, trains, ships, and factories. By the end of World War II in 1945, the P-51 Mustang had already secured its place in history. But its service was not yet over. During the Korean War, now renamed the F-51, it returned to combat as a fighter bomber. Even in the age of jet aircraft, the Mustang proved highly effective in close air support missions, attacking enemy positions with precision and durability. Many countries continued using the Mustang for years after the war, some into the 1970s and 1980s. Outside military service, the aircraft became a legend in air races, museums, and flight shows around the world. Its distinctive sound and graceful design remain instantly recognizable. More than just a fighter plane, the P-51 Mustang symbolized the moment when the Allies gained control of the skies. It proved that air superiority was essential for modern warfare. Without the Mustang, Allied bombing campaigns would have been far more costly, the invasion of Normandy far more dangerous, and the war in Europe possibly much longer. The Mustang did not win the war alone, but it was the missing piece that made it possible. It protected the bombers, destroyed the enemy air power, and allowed Allied forces to advance with far less resistance. Born from urgent necessity and perfected through innovation, the P-51 Mustang became one of the greatest aircraft ever built, a machine that truly changed history.